I'm Ashton Addison from EventChain for Investmentpitch Media and FinTech News Network. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Jag Sidhu, the core developer of Syscoin. Jag, it's a pleasure to see you as always, and thank you for taking the time to be here.
Thanks, Ashton.
You're very welcome. Let's talk about the Syscoin blockchain and the new Sys4 protocol upgrade that just happened. How would you best describe Syscoin's blockchain in the industry to kick it off?
In the industry, we feel that blockchains are going to provide unique value. Every chain has their own value associated with them, and we've been researching a couple of years to find the right recipe for what we want to bring to the industry. We feel that last year scalability was a big concern, so we've been researching mostly last year on scalability, and we solved that through something called Z-DAG, which we'll get into, which is a micropayments infrastructure on top of something like Bitcoin, which we introduced on Syscoin, and interoperability is kind of the upcoming big thing, along with stable coins and new private key infrastructure, multi-party computation, all that stuff. A lot of the stuff can be built on top of the existing blockchains, but some of the stuff needs to be done at the consensus layer. So the consensus layer stuff is what we've been kind of researching to try to do and bring to the market in Syscoin 4. And so we thought that our value to the industry will be something that's fast, lightweight, can transfer in a cost-efficient way to help businesses. And then, for the rest of the stuff, for flexibility across Turing complete designs and doing stuff autonomously, we feel we created a bridge which we feel will solve that for our customers and users. The people that want to leverage, demurrage or interest or anything custom and specific around autonomous business rules can leverage the Ethereum blockchain, pay a little bit more, but they can do the functions, come back to the safe, sound, merge mine blockchain of Syscoin, which is again backed by the Bitcoin proof of work. So, those are the two core things. Every blockchain has their use. A lot of them maybe on the market cap rankings right now are trying to take over something what Bitcoin is offering in the value transfers space for the money use case. But I think that, it's going to be hard to dethrone something like that, especially if it works well. As soon as they have lightning networks and stuff, it's going to be really hard to see someone else dethrone that use case, the money side of things. I think Bitcoin is a store of value. It's not going to change. Every other chain has to bring some type of use that is useful to the customers and businesses. And we feel that the bridge interoperability between chains and the speed and cost savings of Z-DAG enable a value add that isn't seen across the industry right now.
Very interesting. And yeah, Syscoin has been around for more than a few years now. It's quite an old project in terms of the crypto space time. And congratulations so far on this Sys4 protocol upgrade. It sounds like there's a lot of improvements, and one of those being scalability, which is a major discussion in the blockchain industry right now. Can you speak about the scalability upgrades of Syscoin 4 and what has changed from before?
Yeah, so I'll step back a little bit and talk about why the whys and the hows before the what's. So the Z-DAG protocol we keep calling it is really stemmed from the whole blockchain block size debate, right? So when people view blockchain, it should be viewed as a settlement system. It's not really a point of sale application system where you have a shared memory of a database, and it needs to be settled performantly, but it doesn't need to be solving your point of sale applications. Just because, if you're trying to throw on the Visa, MasterCard type of scale on the blockchain and have it settle at the same time, it's going to be costing you an arm and a leg because it's commensurate of how many people are trying to come into that settlement system at the same time, or it's just not going to be secure. So the trilemma is an unsolved problem: decentralization, security, and cost. And you take one and the other one kind of gives. So what people have to do is think about how to build on top. And what we felt was, there are some interesting projects out there, Lightning networks and payment channels that are pretty cool, and they do seem to work. I think there's a little bit of time before something like that becomes acceptable, because there are some particularly interesting game theoretical attacks that you can do to kind of get around the lack of consensus on those type of systems. So we felt that, the people that wanted the big block size, they were solely focused on point of sale. As I understood it, the blockchain was a settlement system. So I wanted to leverage the fact that it's a settlement system, but still offer these people that wanted the bigger blocks and the faster transactions a way out to be able to give them what they want, but not necessarily take away decentralization and security, at least in a probabilistic way. You don't want to have it so like you're able to do 3-second blocks, but you're 25% less secure, right? That just doesn't work. Doesn't make sense. I'd rather just use a bank. But if you're talking about maybe 1,000th of a percent difference, and if you wait a couple extra seconds, and you get maybe 10,000th of a percent less probable of a settlement, is something that's compelling to me, and I think I would take that in a heartbeat when I'm talking about a $10 transaction. And so that's kind of where Z-DAG was born, and it was an idea where you're still backed by the blockchain proof of work system. So the fact that Syscoin is merge mined plays well in this design, because we are mined alongside of Bitcoin. So when you mine Bitcoin, you actually are mining Syscoin as well as a child chain, and many of the block explorers are tending towards the full gamut of all of the block explorers supporting merge mining, because it's almost like free money to them. So they secure networks such as Syscoin and Namecoin, and in return we get that security of Bitcoin. So now you have a blockchain which is really just a clone of Bitcoin, and it's mined alongside of Bitcoin, and anything value added on top. Also, if done right, you can think of it as an extension of Bitcoin and just as secure. So we developed an asset protocol that plays on top of Syscoin. It's essentially like, I guess it's like you can think about the Omni layer, but the Omni layer is a logical layer on top of Bitcoin. It's a little bit slower because it's subject to Bitcoin block times and all that, and it doesn't have the ability to do a layer 2 design the way we did it, because we built it into the consensus of Syscoin. So now that you have an asset layer, and now business can come on top, we wanted to be able to make the trade-off between micro and macro transactions, to give the consumers and the merchants an option. Should they take a little bit of a probabilistic heuristic approach, where you think that you're doing a $10 transactions, you're okay waiting 5 to 10 seconds, and if you're okay waiting that amount of time, the chance of your double spend not settling is X percentage. We can make that trade-off for the consumers, and so we did. And doing through our analysis and our testing, we found it to be adequate for what we needed to do for point of sale, and compared to Visa, MasterCard, still a lot more secure. So the goal was to take some of the trilemma and shift it towards performance and convenience. It's kind of the in thing of blockchain right now, to make it go for the average Joe. And by doing so, we were able to still compete. We were able to compete against Visa, MasterCard, but still able to remain decentralized and secure. And the security component of it will be scaling up over time as networks become more efficient. So as more and more nodes grow on the system, more master nodes come on Syscoin, which are incentivized full nodes to help throughput of these Z-DAG transactions, which is just standard transactions being sent around the network. As the web of connections grows and the flooding mesh network is able to process faster and faster, you'll see a higher and higher throughput and more security for the same amount of time that someone would wait for an average point of sale transaction. So, for example, today it takes about 10 seconds for a Z-DAG transaction to go through, and for you to be relatively secure in terms of not being double spent, because these transactions are in memory pool. You still have to wait for their settlement. But if you're talking about a $10 transaction, a 0.0001% chance that you'll be double spent is probably okay, and you could build that into an insurance model on top. So we felt like if we made those trade-offs, we can achieve Visa, MasterCard level of speed, but at the same time remaining secure. So that's kind of where we were at, and we're building the application layers on top, and then we decided to patent Z-DAG because we felt on Blockchain Foundry it's a pretty valuable IP to kind of own, but still open source it so other people can leverage the tech.
That's amazing, Jag. And now Sys4 upgrade is allowing for microtransactions, which is something that has been a limitation, especially with Bitcoin and Ethereum right now. Can you speak on how you achieve this? Is it through Z-DAG that the microtransactions are enabled as well? And is that mainly used for business? It's not really a point of sale thing, is it? And how is that used mainly?
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to enable the people, the businesses that want to build on top of Syscoin. So Sys is actually just gas, like Ethereum. We don't envision that someone's going to be doing point of sale on top as Syscoin, right? Syscoin is the gas that you used to pay to drive this thing. When you're a business, you want to have your own token. You want to have your own asset that you hold, that you give as loyalty points or as point of sale type of integrations. And so Z-DAG works on top of the asset layer. So when you transfer an asset to another asset, it's very efficient. And doing all of the stuff we've been focusing on has been at the asset layer. Basically, businesses can take advantage of Z-DAG and point of sale by creating an asset and having the ability to transfer that at a fraction of a thousandth of a penny, but at the same time settle within probabilistically settle in 10 seconds. But at the same time, if you're doing a larger transaction, for a few $1,000 or whatever your subjective limitation is on feeling towards it's becoming a macro transaction, then at that time you can always fall back to waiting for the proof of work. So those are the trade-offs we made. And yeah, definitely the businesses can take advantage by using that for point of sale. So your traditional crypto debit card systems that are out there today, they're essentially working on an IOU basis or a central clearing. But these actual programs can be converted into real-time crypto transfers now. So you remove the middleman between the conversion fees of going from crypto to fiat, and fiat sent over to the merchant. Now you can actually do a transfer direct from the consumer to the merchant and back if needed. So it cuts out all of the transaction fees and conversion fees in between. Now, if you think about that and maybe do like a stable coin, now you have the ability to actually transfer something like a USD IOU on the blockchain in real time to somebody, and the merchant actually gets a USD note back, and not have to go through a conversion process with fees and stuff. So your traditional fees of 3 to 5% become something like a thousandth of a percent, and you can do a lot more transactions in a more secure way, faster and better overall.
That's amazing. And can you talk about some of the business use cases and assets that have been created on Syscoin already that are adding value today?
Yeah, there's a few projects that are being built. We feel there's going to be a lot of demand coming up, just because we've seen the market shift towards something, like you're saying, like people are seeing Ethereum and a little bit higher gas fees recently. But the businesses, they want something cheap and fast. They're not really concerned too much about security because the blockchains haven't shown much issues in terms of the attackers aren't around yet. They haven't learned the protocols, but they will be. I almost guarantee it. There's going to be kids in universities that are going to try to break these things. And so you do want to stick to the more standard secure protocols. But there are a few businesses that kind of see that, and we're working we do bring a value for, and the Load and AGX platform that we're working with is very interesting because it kind of does leverage the Z-DAG tech. The AGX is a silver-backed token that we feel can the stable coin that can be transferred in real time, like I was saying. So if you have a debit card system or your mobile phone, you could transfer this thing in real time. It's actually backed by the silver value behind it. And so those are the types of projects we're looking to kind of get involved with to try to make our technology shine. The other thing is the other platform that we're working with is AIBB, which is an AI platform. It's a trading platform. And there's one more that we're recently been working with is Trivium Real Estate. So it's an asset class. It's kind of like a crypto token representing real estate indexes and traveling. There's a few projects that we're working with right now, but there's been a flood of interest, and I think there's going to be a lot more, especially as we prove that this bridge that's never been done before. If this thing, this innovation ends up, showing that you could travel across blockchains without having to trust middlemen or counterparties, like atomic swaps today are possible, but you do have to find someone to be a counterparty to that trade. But if you're talking about crossing a bridge without trading, then that's never really been done before, and that's something we think there's also a value for, because you don't have to find a partner. You can transfer any amount at any time. Just simply wait the amount of time it takes for confirmations, and you've moved across blockchains. So we've actually provided a kind of a scaling plan for Ethereum in that way, because you can go from Ethereum to Syscoin to leverage Syscoin features. So going back to what I was saying, every blockchain has to have a use. And so if Ethereum users want to transfer their assets in a cheap way, they can leverage our technology to do that. So yeah, because of that, we feel there's probably a lot of influx and interest. And the other couple we've been working with projects, we're partnered up with BlockNet, who's a great project that's doing decentralized exchanges and DEX technology, and the other one is Komodo. They are also doing. They're a SuperNet partner that we've been kind of partnered up with since the beginning, around 2014 or 15, and they're also doing a DEX along with some other tech that they got. But the DEXs are where we're interested in kind of building gateways for our assets as well, because we made them atomic swap compatible. So in tomorrow's world, we have the native bridges, and we'll also have the bridges where you're swapping to with atomic swaps, which is more flexible. So we're kind of going both directions, and we're making it compatible. And those are the projects as well that we want to build partners with to show off our tech. And so once someone like Komodo and BlockNet, they show the DEX stuff working, now you have a truly decentralized marketplace where you can use your tokens, but also exchange them across to other tokens if you want as well.
That's amazing, Jag. It sounds like you guys have some great partners so far. And I'm sure with this Sys4 upgrade, there'll be a flock of Ethereum users that are more interested in finding a cheap and efficient solution. So if there are other projects or investors, developers, team members that are interested in learning more about Syscoin and the Sys4 upgrade, what's the best way to learn more information and get involved?
Yeah, I think the best way is probably our Discord. If you're a developer and you're looking to help try to change the world or just to make things better, if you're interested in crypto, just anyone who's smart, who can code, you can jump in our Discord. And we have a masternode system with a decentralized governance. So that governance has been expanded for Syscoin 4, and we are looking for developers to offer funding to develop on the protocol. So there's a few Ethereum developers that we're kind of talking to right now, but again, like, anyone's welcome, and you join the community, and we're here with open arms, and we think we win as a team. And so if you come in and help us, we'll make sure that you're incentivized, and the development funds are there for that purpose. So the community votes for what they feel is going to bring value to the project, and that's kind of out of anyone's hands, the developers or anyone else. So if you come in and you bring value to the community, you can create a proposal to get paid for it. So Discord is a great place for that. Obviously, if you're an investor, you can always come in there as well. We're always chatting with the community pretty much 24/7. We're always around. If you want to reach us by email, probably the best is marketing@syscoin.community, or you can go to our website at blockchainfoundry.co or syscoin.org.
Amazing. Jag Sidhu, core developer of Syscoin, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much for your time. I'll leave the links to your links in the description box below, and I appreciate you taking the time, and all the best of luck with Sys4 and growing the community.
Yeah, thanks for the interview. Thank you.